And journalist David Udeyi was on Arise TV's Newsday show yesterday to discuss his article on terrorist financing in Nigeria. His article quoted the central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, who warned back in September that BDCs or Bureau de Change operators could inadvertently be aiding the illegal purchase of arms into Nigeria to some degree. Udeyi's investigation revealed that an individual labeled as a security threat by Nigerian authorities could well own a number of Bureau de Change operators in Africa's largest economy. Arise business analyst Chikan Bonu joins me now live here in our Lagos studios to discuss this further. Good morning. Great to have you.
Morning.
Quite a bit of interesting stories. What do you make of these revelations in this article about the terror financing and perhaps some of the conduits or the pipeline through which this could have happened?
You know, terrorists require funds to sustain themselves and to carry out their acts. And then that's why combating the financial terrorism is almost a worldwide globe now.
It is.
And then the interesting thing about this is that their funds can come from legitimate sources, like legitimate businesses, licensed business by government, and or illegitimate sources like kidnapping for ransom, illegitimate dealing from commodities,
guns running
and so on and so forth. And then you can see that we thought about the Nigerian situation. And I used to ponder, I used to get amazed as to how this money flows, because you see, like all the kidnapping for ransom that we have in Nigeria, running to hundreds of millions of naira, and these are people who believe they are not structured, who carry all this naira. So how does the money end up in the hand of the terrorists?
Of the terrorists. And when it ends up in the hands of the terrorists, where does the money go from there?
Go from there. So that's the issue of the BDCs.
Yes. So the issue of insecurity and tracking it using the financial system, the payment system.
Very, very important. That's why anti-money laundering and actually combating the financial terrorism.
The NFIU.
Yes, actually shake hands.
So we have enough institutions here. We talk about the central bank, the EFCC, the NFIU.
NFIU. So you see, when the CBN governor is talking about the BDCs, it's set up with good intention to handle the retail end of the business for Nigerian citizens. Buy dollars at very low rates, 400 naira to the dollar, and then sell it to Nigerians at very good rates, 403, 405. But what happened? All of them moved into, I keep saying APCON has no excuse on this. And so where would all those dollars, about $110 million every week?
Where does it end up?
In
whose pockets? In whose accounts?
In whose accounts?
And in what activities?
And what activities?
That's the key point.
So this revelation, remember what I said, that the financing of terrorism can actually be legal businesses, licensed businesses, good fronts, licensed by government. And so it's not surprising that the story that we had yesterday in our program and how it happened.
I agree with you.
That's licensed
business. If you look at the Italian mafia, they are all in legitimate businesses.
Yeah,
and then
it further validates the action taken by Central Bank of Nigeria on the BDCs. And I do believe that the BDCs are going to have a second life. All these things have to put in their plate and make sure that it's sorted out and spoken about and addressed.
It's not likely to be business as usual.
It can be business as usual.
At least from this point onwards.
From this point onwards. Because we can't be using our cheap dollars to hurt ourselves, as the CBN governor said.
I totally agree.
And once you cut off the source of funding, the terrorist activities actually reduce.
It's like cutting off the head of the
snake. Yeah.
The rest collapses.
Mm-hmm.
Also, talk about the dollar supply. Can the commercial banks meet up, by the way?
Well, I mean, how they are there to dispense, really. I thought about the issue we have in Nigeria. It's supply. And I was asked one time, what is one thing that we should do to the Nigerian economy? And I said it's the expansion of non-oil exports and everything in that chain to make sure that it's easy for that to happen. If you look at the exporters that are outside oil, I mean, they're groaning, complaining about things, the limiting factors to go to their business. And even to move things from their factories to their Papa port takes them weeks now. The exports, from the government side, the export expansion grant is so many years in arrears. Even the one that budget for this year was just very paltry. For a country that's pushing non-oil export. And then you would think that because our exchange rate is low now, therefore, it should support exports. Exactly. Our exports will be cheap and expand, but we cannot do that.
Textbook economics tells you that.
You read also that a lot of the ships and the planes that bring cargo into Nigeria go back empty, because there's nothing to really to export. And so those are the major issues for us.
So that takes me to the statistics office, the
the
value
side,
of manufactured goods.
The beautiful thing about it is all this is shake hands.
It's a chain.
They shake hands.
You get it wrong here. It's garbage in, garbage out.
So when you see this figure about our import being higher than our export by more than 4 trillion, it speaks to many things. One is the fact that the local production, do we have capacity to produce locally? And then you see, how is it that something that brought from all the way in China to Nigeria is cheaper than what is produced in Nigeria? How is that possible? So you ask yourself,
is that of this world?
Yeah. So you ask yourself those questions, and when you put the manufacturers in the room, they tell you that they are confronted with so many things. 40% of their cost is power. It's power.
Energy. Of all means, whether it's by transportation or electricity.
And then they look at the Papa port. The supply chain, logistics is so much. Look at the roads now. Safety and everything for them.
The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is at the heart of
promotion of trade
in every
country. This figure that you put
including the parastatals under that
ministry. This figure that you put up now about the gap between our export and import is actually should give the Minister for Trade and Investment nightmares. It's actually a report, a status report on the performance. And we remember we asked them about the trade policy, because it requires an update. And they tell us that it's still on the table.
For example, if the deposits into banks gets to this very low, as well as the central bank governor should have very sleepless nights. So the same to the Minister of Industry and Industry should have a sleepless night. That we're yet to resolve the whole issue in terms of boosting exports, non-oil exports, by the way. Are there any low-hanging fruits? We've done ease of doing business so far, but it looks like that seems to have gone a bit cold.
But I mean, I give you examples. So one of the things that the vice president actually initiated, even ordinarily at our international airport here, he went there himself physically and removed some structures and limit things. Other things are
try to squeeze.
They're all bad.
Try to squeeze some of the agencies together at the seaports.
And
even get e-trucking.
They're all back.
We're back to ground zero.
Look at the trucking. Look at scanners. We don't have scanners at the ports. When they bring the scanners, they break down. It's just like.
And at the ports, we still do fiscal examination.
And so I see us that I keep saying that we're very unserious. We're a broke country and going around still pretending that everything is okay and borrowing from left and right.
Because these years of cheap naira ought to have translated into humongous earnings
for our country
in dollar terms.
In dollar terms.
But the question is, why do this currency in circulation in naira that is currently there, where does the money go? Where does the naira go?
You asked me the question. I tried to answer it because you see, the other thing also is that the lot of naira there is chasing what? Dollars. Do you recall one of the cases in court now is what? Somebody who they found with about $9 million cash stuck somewhere, buried somewhere. I want to assure you that so many people in Nigeria have those kind of dollars buried in their houses. Or some other places. Dollar holdings.
Bury ground.
For dollars. So people are holding cash dollars. And in this country.
So the currency, the local currency is not going into productive purposes.
Then I had a course to get involved in some information. 1 or 2 airlines actually, using style to force Nigerians to buy their tickets, Naira tickets in dollars now. It's dollarizing
I'm twisting.
I'm twisting Nigerians.
Very nicely.
Yeah, very nicely. Making the cheaper tickets to be in dollars and the expensive tickets to be in Naira. So
I'm here. Yeah, I'll let you know if I'm traveling. but for now, let's leave it for there. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Chikambonu, Arise business analyst. You're watching the Global Business Report here on Arise News.